What is the point of being tested? Stephen did a message about the storm. We need a storm to test the works. But what is really the purpose? See, the testing is supposed to expose any weaknesses, but not for the purpose of destroying the building, but for the purpose of reconstructing it, fixing the problem. See, when I was doing my porch, like Stephen said, I had to pour a lot of water to see where it's going and where it stays. And wherever it stayed, I went in and I polished and I did this and I did that, and I had to keep correcting it. I'm like, it's still not good. I better do some more work on it. And this is what Papa does with us. When he tests you and you fail, it's not to condemn you. It's more like the Lord saying, there's a flaw there. Let me work on that. And he puts you back on that potter's wheel, and he keeps spinning until he gets that flaw taken care of. I remember seeing a movie some time ago. There was this man that was a pretty decent man, really humble and all. And then he came across, but he was a nobody. Nobody really gave him much attention. He was just, a good, humble man. And he came across some woman in distress that fell into a mine or something of that nature. And then, of course, naturally, he went out of his way and he was able to rescue her. He was given supernatural strength, from God. The angel of the Lord came and all of a sudden he was able to lift this thing and rescue her. And and all the news media and everything came and started interviewing him, and he had his 90 seconds of fame, 15 minutes of fame, and it got to his head real quick. From a humble, unknown man, all of a sudden he got these camera people coming up in his office, and before you know it, his testimony changed. At first it was like, I don't know, I just came across and, and the Lord gave me all of a sudden it's like, I was there and she was lucky I was there and here is this and this is what I do and look at these muscles of mine. And he got so full of himself, even the camera people were disgusted. And it's interesting because this happens so often, right? You get a little taste of publicity, of power, and you get so full of yourself. And now you're expecting it and you want more. What, nobody's here to interview me? Nobody want to videotape me, put me on another news show? And you've completely ruined the blessing of being able to help somebody. And yet the Lord allows these things to happen. Because after that, he did get humbled. Not everybody does. Some people double down on their pride and wickedness. And it's a part of the test, Sometimes you fail and you just stay failed. You don't graduate and that's it. But other times, you go to the second semester and you try again. So eventually he realized what he has become and he repented and he humbled himself. And it was a wonderful thing because he acknowledged what he did and he apologized to the woman and he apologized to the angel and he repented to the Lord. Really, that's the most important one, the one you should repent to, because he was trying to take all the credit for himself when really it was the Lord who did it and just used him. Can you imagine Gideon, right? All of these judges and prophets you read about. Gideon was a nobody. It was the Lord who gave him the victory. And Gideon acknowledged it. When the people of Israel wanted to make him king, he said, "No, Adonai is your king. Can you imagine if he got so full of himself? Yeah, well, I come from this family. I'm working out. I got 6-pack abs. I can bench 400 pounds with a finger. The Lord would have probably killed him. Look what happened with Samson. He got so full of himself. And that's why you have to be tested. But the point of the testing, like I said, is not to fail you. You might fail, but that's not the purpose. And if you do fail, well, re-examine yourself. Gather yourself. Explore, study, improve. Try and try again. And the Lord will test you again and again and again until you pass. We often say in school you get the lesson, then you get the test. In life you get the test, then you get the lesson. He gives you something and you don't act right, he's going to take it away. He's going to teach you a lesson, then he's going to test you again. He's going to give you back that thing and see what you're doing with it now. And let's see if you learned your lesson. I'm going to put you in that same situation again. And if you still fail, you're going to get an even harder lesson. And then after that lesson, you're going to get another test. Because he wants to see, are you getting any better? What is wrong with this clay? Why is this not fixing? So he's going to try something else. Sometimes it's more gentle, sometimes it's more harsh. Sometimes it's with a feather, sometimes it's with a sledgehammer. Because at the end of the day, the goal of the potter is to have his perfect clay. We are the clay, he's perfecting us, our character, who we really are, our soul, our mind. Not just our physical body that decays, but our eternal being, our spirit. So, remember this thing. The purpose of the test is to help you, not to fail you. And if you do fail, just repent. Put your best foot forward. Pray for wisdom. Pray for help. Pray for strength. Resist temptation. It's going to take time. You're not going to succeed the first or second or third time. Might take 20 times, but as long as you're pushing towards it, you're going to be a little better. You might not be, good enough, but you'll get closer every time until eventually you can finally resist temptation and not give in. And that is when you will finally pass and be flawless in that area. Surely there are countless other areas where you still are flawed and need to be perfected. But one flaw at a time, that's all we can do. Praise Papa.